This is part 3 of a 3-part video series. But before I get into the content for this video, I want to back up and make some clarifications. I've mentioned previously that my primary work is with husbands whose wives are survivors of sexual abuse. And because of that primary work, most of my illustrations then are referring to female survivors of sexual abuse. I want it understood that I in no way mean to ignore or negate the fact that there are so many male survivors of sexual abuse. That's fully acknowledged. But for ease of this presentation, since the focus is on marriages involving a female survivor, that's where the illustrations speak. Also, I recognize that there are also female perpetrators, not simply male perpetrators. But in my speaking, rather than the awkwardness of he, she, when I refer to a perpetrator, I most often use the term he, the pronoun he. But I recognize there are male and female perpetrators of sexual abuse. So let's get into the content. The first video, titled Adverse Factors, Husbands Bring Their Own Stuff into the Marriage, speaks of adverse factors as being those perspectives and behaviors that a husband brings into his marriage that are adverse factors because they either mimic the events surrounding his wife's sexual abuse or clash with the effects of her abuse. The second video is titled Identifying Adverse Factors That We Bring into the Marriage. There are many ways of identifying these, so we're looking at 3 primary domains. In the second video, we looked at our family of origin. There are beliefs and behaviors that we bring from our family of origin that when we take them into our current marriage can be adverse factors. So the more we know about our family of origin, the more we will know about ourselves. In this video, after having looked at the family of origin, we're looking at 2 more domains from which these adverse factors can emerge. One of the domains that we'll be looking at today is the hidden parts of our lives, and the other one is trauma. As we look at the hidden parts of our lives, there are 3 aspects to consider: secrets, hidden habits, and hidden motives. In looking at secrets, there are 2 forms of secrets we'll consider: family secrets and personal secrets. Here are some questions to consider as we examine any possible family secrets from our family of origin or our current family. Here's the first question. Was there anything in your family of origin or in your current family that if it was known outside of your home, it would have led to serious consequences? How did the secrets affect you as a child, and how are they shaping you as an adult? There are adverse factors that can emerge from any family secrets. There's also personal secrets. There can be financial personal secrets, money that is secretly hidden away and no one else knows about it. Money that is spent and no one else is told, but only you know. There's personal secrets in social media. Is there anyone with whom you text on any platform where the only people knowing about that communication is you and the other person, but it's kept secret from everybody else? That's a personal secret. Addictions are personal secrets. Is there anything hidden in your workplace or at home that only you know about? Secrets, whether they are family secrets or personal secrets, are adverse factors for a marriage involving a survivor of sexual abuse. In fact, it's an adverse factor in any marriage, but especially in a marriage with a survivor of sexual abuse, because sexual abuse occurs where there are secrets. Secrets allow sexual abuse to occur. Moving from secrets, another hidden part of our lives that needs to be examined is hidden habits. In the first video, titled Adverse Factors, we looked at the couple that I named Logan and Callie. Not their real name, but a couple that represents many couples. Logan had that secret hidden habit of viewing pornography. Callie did not know about it. Now, again, there are also habits formed by women watching pornography too, not just men. But in this case, we're looking at Logan. He had that hidden habit. For Callie, as a survivor of sexual abuse, that was especially an adverse factor, because hidden habits are like having a secret room in our house, but it's in our life. A secret room symbolizes the where, the how, and the when that the hidden habit is lived out. No one knows about the secret room except for the one with the hidden habit. Having a secret room and a hidden habit are adverse factors, because a secret room and a hidden habit mimics the life and the actions of the perpetrator. Secrets trigger all of that past trauma for a survivor of sexual abuse. So here's a couple of questions. What do you do that you hope no one else sees? That very well could be an adverse factor. Where is the secret room? Is there a secret room in your life that gives evidence of an adverse factor? Let's look at the third area of these hidden parts of our lives, and that is hidden motives. Whereas hidden habits are hidden from others, hidden motives are hidden from ourselves. But these too are adverse factors, because the perpetrator had hidden motives. Here's a couple of examples of hidden motives. It could occur in any home. These are innocent examples, but they do give evidence of where hidden motives can occur. First one is a husband comes and he hugs his wife and he tells himself, I just want to express my love to her. So he hugs her. His wife, who is a survivor of sexual abuse, on this particular day, in this particular moment, freezes up in that hug. There are times for survivors of sexual abuse when physical touch is difficult. So on this occasion, she freezes up. And he backs away, feeling all offended, rejected by her freezing up. He tells himself that he just wanted to love her. But why is he offended? If it was an act of love in giving to her, why is he the one who's now offended? Could it be in those situations where he's offended that there was a hidden motive? He told himself he wanted to express love, but there was also this motive of wanting to receive something from her. Maybe it was comfort, getting comfort from her. Now, that can seem like a fine thing, except it can be a hidden motive revealed by his taking offense. And at that point, it needs to be realized this is an adverse factor, because the perpetrator was filled with hidden motive. He did his actions, or she did her actions as a perpetrator, in order to get something from the victim of the abuse. Here's another example. Again, these are things that could happen in any home. There are hidden motives that can lurk behind certain questions. For example, questions that begin with, why did you? Or why don't you? Or why do you? Now, those questions like that, can be asked out of an innocent, pure curiosity. But very often, questions that begin that way are actually making a statement of blame, or inferring failure on the part of the other. Why didn't you? Why don't you? Why do you? So a husband asks such a question, and the hidden motive there is to communicate some type of failure on her part. And she says, stop accusing me. To which he responds, I'm only asking a question. He is unable to acknowledge to himself that he has a hidden motive of making a statement more than asking a question. And here's the challenge. Survivors can detect hidden motives as though they have an odor about them, the hidden motive, that is. They have a hypervigilance because at a young age, when they were being abused, there was a hidden motive being acted out by a perpetrator. And later in life, that type of behavior has an odor to it. That if in marriage there's a hidden motive, it becomes an adverse factor. Not only does it clash with the events surrounding the abuse of the survivor, but it clashes with everything that the survivor feels and thinks. There is a third domain to explore here as we attempt to identify adverse factors that we bring into our marriage, and that is trauma. Trauma is any event outside the usual human experience that is markedly distressing. It overwhelms our normal coping mechanisms. It affects how we feel, and how we think, and how we act, and how we relate. So I want to look at trauma being brought into a marriage. Obviously, the survivor of sexual abuse has experienced a trauma. But there are many men who come into the marriage and they don't think that they've experienced any trauma at all. Ruth Cohn, in her book, Coming Home to Passion, brings to light how two traumas come together in a marriage. Ruth Cohn is a marriage and family therapist who specializes in her work with survivors of sexual abuse. And over the years, as she worked with these survivors, she repeatedly encountered the same complaints that survivors had about their partners. Over time, she eventually thought, I need to find out what the life of these partners is all about. So she gathered the partners for a one-day workshop. And these partners were all partners of her clients who had been sexually abused. Her intent in this one-day workshop was to educate them about what it is to be a survivor of sexual abuse. But she was the one who came upon a great discovery that day. She realized that almost every partner in that room had experienced a different kind of abuse, not a different kind of trauma, not one where something was done to them, but a trauma and an abuse of something being withheld from them. Each of them had experienced childhood neglect. They had been abandoned in one form or another. They were not emotionally nurtured. Perhaps their parents were working 24/7. They were left at home too much. The result was these partners grew up longing for human connection. So bring the two together. A wife enters into the marriage as a survivor of sexual abuse. And as a survivor, many times there is a difficulty, a fear of close relationships. And then along comes the husband who was emotionally neglected as a child, and because of his abandonment, he's longing for connection. And the two clash. Having been emotionally abandoned, his fear of being alone clashes with her fear of being too close. So we've looked at three domains in order to identify adverse factors we bring into our marriage. Unless we examine our family of origin, the hidden parts of our lives, and trauma that we've experienced, either by something being done to us or something withheld from us, unless we examine and explore those areas and we understand their impact, if we don't do that, we will contribute to and continue in an unhealthy relationship in the present.